He could hear the slow sucking sounds as Gox drained Treeflex's body. Geez, he added. Fortunately, it didn't take Gox long to eat. Rip Red began to grill her about the rat attack. She told him an entire army, several hundred rats at least, had invaded the land of the spiders. The spiders had held them off, but many had died on both sides before the rats had finally retreated. Vicus had come by after the carnage and had sent Gox and Treeflex on his bat to the tunnel entrance. Why? Asked Gox. Why did the Gnars kill us? I don't know. It may be that King Gorger has launched a total underland attack, or it may be they caught wind of 2 overlanders heading toward our land. Did they mention the warrior of the prophecy of Grey? Asked Rip Red. There were no words, only death, said Gox. It is quite fortunate you found us. It would have taken much time to free 2 spinners from King Gorger's prisons unnoticed, and we have no time to waste, said Rip Red to Gox. He turned to Gregor. This attack on the spinners does not bode well for your father. Why? What? Why not? Asked Gregor, feeling his insides go icy. Vicus has done a remarkable job of concealing you. No rat, save me, has seen you and lived to tell of it. The rats do not know the warrior has arrived, but the fact that humans have brought overlanders to the spinners will make them suspicious, said Rip Red. The wheels seemed to be visibly turning in his head. Still, there is much confusion in war, and no rat has identified you. We move on now. No one argued. They packed up and headed out the far side of the cavern into a drier, roomier tunnel. Aurora and Ares were able to fly now, although the space was dangerous for riders. We shall go on foot, Luxa told Aurora. Even if you carry the rest of us, what will be done with the Gnar? So the bats took to the air with the remaining packs. Gregor watched them enviously. Lucky I'm not a bat. I might just fly out of here and not look back. Ares and Aurora would never do that. They are bonded to myself and Henry, said Luxa. How does that work exactly? Asked Gregor. When a bat and human bond, they swear to fight to the death for each other, said Luxa. Aurora would never leave me in danger, nor I her. Does everybody have a bat? Asked Gregor, thinking it would be nice to know somebody was going to hang around and defend you in this place. Oh no, some never find a bat to bond with. I became one with Aurora when I was quite young, but this is not common, said Luxa. How come you bonded so early? Asked Gregor. After my parents were killed, I went through a time where I never felt safe on the ground. I spent all my waking hours in the air on Aurora. That is why we fly so well together. Vicus convinced the council to allow us to bond early. After that, I was not so afraid. Are you afraid now? Said Gregor. At times, she admitted, but it is no worse than if I were in regalia. You see, I tired of constant fear, so I made a decision. Every day when I wake, I tell myself that it will be my last. If you are not trying to hold on to time, you are not so afraid of losing it. Gregor thought this was the single saddest thing anyone had ever said to him. He couldn't answer. And then, if you make it to bedtime, you feel the joy of cheating death out of one more day, she said. Do you see? I think so, said Gregor numbly. An awful thought struck him. Wasn't Lux's strategy just an extreme form of his own rule? True, he didn't think about dying every day, but he denied himself the luxury of thinking about the future with or without his dad. If he hadn't fallen through the grate in his laundry room and discovered his dad was still alive, if his dad had never come home, how long would he have gone on refusing to be happy? His whole life? Maybe, he thought, maybe my whole life. Gregor hurried on with the conversation. So how do you actually bond with a bat? He asked Luxa. It is a simple ceremony. Many bats and humans gather. You stand face to face with your bat and say a vow, like so, said Luxa, extending her hand and reciting a poem. Aurora the Flyer, I bond to you. Our life and death are one, we two. In dark and flame and war and strife, I save you as I saved my life. And then your bat recites it back, but using your name. Then there is a feast, concluded Luxa. So what happens if one of you breaks the vow, like if Aurora flew off and left you in danger? Asked Gregor. Aurora would not. But a few vows have been broken. The punishment is severe. The one at fault is banished to live alone in the Underland, said Luxa. And no one lives long in the Underland alone. Fascinating as your native rituals are, do you think we might proceed in silence? Given the entire rat nation is on the lookout for us, it might be prudent, said Rip Red. Luxa and Gregor shut up. Gregor wished they could talk more. Luxa acted differently when she wasn't with Henry. Friendlier, less arrogant. But Rip Red was right about the noise. Fortunately, Boots dozed off. For several hours, all they heard were the light tap of their footsteps and the scraping sound of Rip Red's teeth on a bone he'd saved from lunch. Gregor felt consumed with new worries about his dad. From what Rip Red had said, it seemed like the rats might kill him to keep Gregor from reaching him. But why? That wouldn't change the prophecy, would it? He guessed no one really knew. And what about that last stanza? He unrolled the prophecy and read it so many times he memorized it without trying. The last who will die must decide where he stands. The fate of the 8 is contained in his hands. So bid him take care, bid him look where he leaps, as life may be death, and death life again reaps. He couldn't make heads or tails of it. All he could figure out was that whoever died fourth had a pretty big responsibility to the 8 who were still living. But how? What? Where? When? The final stanza of the Prophecy of Gray, stop, left out all the details that would have made it useful. Rip Red kept them moving until everyone was stumbling with fatigue. He gave the order to stop in a cavern that at least had a dry floor and a spring with drinkable water. Gregor and Luxa passed around their dwindling food, which was disappearing much faster than he had anticipated. He tried to object when the roaches gave their food to Boots, thinking he would share his own. "Let them feed her," said Rip Red. "A crawler can live a month with no food if it has water. And don't bother feeding Gox. Tree Flex will hold her longer than our journey will last." The cavern was cold. Gregor stripped off Boots' damp clothes and put on a fresh set. Something was wrong with her. She seemed too quiet, and her skin was clammy and cold. Yes?
Who are we talking about right now?
You'll find out. Listen. He curled up under the blanket with her, trying to warm her up. What would he do if she got sick? They needed to be home with his mom, who always knew just the combination of juice and medicine and pillows to make it all right. He tried to console himself with the idea that his dad could help when they found him. Everyone was so tired from their trek that they fell asleep immediately. Something woke Gregor from a heavy sleep. A sound? A movement? He wasn't sure. All he knew was that when he opened his eyes, Henry was standing over Rip Red, ready to plunge his sword into the sleeping rat's back. I was planning to stop there. You okay with that?
No.
Let me see.
Please. You left out such a juicy part.
Hold on.